Hello, welcome to Lot 76. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Toyota Yaris. The Toyota Yaris followed the well-regarded but unremarkable Starlet Super Mini. However, this time the Toyota Yaris was designed in Europe, for Europe, by Toyota's design studio in France. It was first shown as the Toyota Funtime concept at the 1997 Frankfurt Motor Show, and then it appeared in production format at the 1998 Paris Motor Show and the British Motor Show later on that year. It was on sale in the UK from 1999, and the first vehicles were wearing the T registration plate. It reached Australia in late 1999 and then finally North America in 2003. European body styles were just 3 and 5 doors, although in other markets where the vehicle was known as the Vitz or Echo, a sedan derivative was available. The 67 brake horsepower 998cc engine was remarkable, as it actually won the inaugural International Engine of the Year award. And in 2000, Yaris became only the second Japanese car ever to win the European Car Award. This is something it repeated again in 2020 with the 4th generation car. It was facelifted mildly in the UK in May 2003, and this is when the more logical T grading system was used to identify the trim levels. At that time, ABS and electronic brake force distribution became standard across the range, and also the multi-mode manual transmission MMT gearbox became available. The 2nd generation Yaris was launched in 2006 on a new platform which was actually bigger in every single dimension. Much of this use was actually made of the space to increase interior stowage, and you can see the vehicle's got 2 glove boxes, upper glove boxes, one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side, as well as a normal conventional lower glove box as well. The modular seats allow the ability to move by 150 millimeters to either increase boot space or to increase passenger legroom as required. And in February 2009, the final facelift of the Generation 2 car became available. This was important because at that stage, as well as minor changes to the vehicle look in terms of headlamp design, there was actually the launch of a brand new 1.33 dual VVTi engine. Now this was significant because it brought with it both stop-start and a 6-speed gearbox, and these models are well worth seeking out today for that very reason. And also all derivatives became identified as equipped with optimal drive technology, which basically meant that no model in the range emitted more than 120 grams per kilometre. The 3rd generation was launched in later on in 2011, but at least initially lost the stop-start functionality, and crucially the CO2 actually went up slightly as a result, unfortunately. So bringing us right up to date is the 4th generation, which went on sale in 2020. This is the most advanced generation to date, as you would expect, and even from standard derivative, it's equipped with pre-collision systems, pedestrian and cyclist detection technology, and also finally Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The vehicle I'm driving today is a late 2nd generation model from June 2011, and it was available during the run-out phase. This particular vehicle is equipped to T-Spirit navigation specification, which was the highest in the range at the time. The engine lineup comprised of the petrol 1.33 VVTi 99 brake horsepower engine. The 1 litre in fact produced just 67 brake horsepower, so probably not really the vehicle I would recommend selecting. In this format, 1.33, it actually developed a top speed of 109 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of 11.3 seconds, which if we compare that with the 1 litre model had a top speed of just 96 and relatively slow at 15.2 seconds to 60. Generally the vehicles are still ultra low emission zone ULEZ compliant. The diesel I wouldn't necessarily recommend, although it's a great engine and produces great fuel economy. Unfortunately, because of potential future city bans with a lot of diesel engines, this may be something you want to consider avoiding. This vehicle has built-in satellite navigation, but in actual fact it's powered by TomTom, so the ability to update the navigation is far more accessible than it would be on a normal disc-based system. You can do this from your laptop or your PC, and you don't need to buy new discs. It also has climate control, alloy wheels, front fog lamps, rear parking sensors, remote locking, driver, passenger and side airbags, and ISOFIX points for a child seat. Steering reach, rake and adjustment is also there, and fortunately for those times when you have a puncture, there is still a space saver spare wheel rather than an inflation kit. The only real option on this particular car was metallic paint. One thing I would say about this car, it was very highly rated at the time in terms of the NCAP test, scoring 5 stars for passenger protection at that stage. Now that was the older NCAP test, but compares with some of its peers in the same group, it did remarkably well in terms of safety. In terms of reliability, Toyota have always scored extremely highly in the relevant reliability tests and owner satisfaction surveys. There isn't really that much to note on the second generation vehicles, except for some drivers have reported clutch judder and potentially some synchromesh problems on the gearbox are not completely unknown. There's also an engine warning light that can come on with the diesel model, and in some cases fan belts may need adjusting. Apart from this, it's a pretty clean bill of health. Early multi-mode manual transmissions had some issues where they changed down potentially too early, and in fact this is not the smoothest gearbox and should not be selected if you're looking for a full automatic gearbox experience. There have also been a number of recalls on Yaris during the period for headrest and airbag faults, and most of the vehicles out there should actually have been fixed by now. If you've got any doubts and you're thinking of buying a vehicle or checking your own vehicle, you can check this on the government MOT website, where you can check the MOT status of the vehicle, and it will show you any outstanding recalls that still need to be carried out, and I'm sure your local authorised dealer would be prepared to support you on that. So what's the second generation Yaris like to drive? Well, you start off with a high seating position, and the vehicle's got plenty of adjustment to make yourself comfortable, but it's actually got quite a high hip point to actually get in and out of the vehicle. It's actually comfortable, and the seats even on longer journeys are particularly supportive, and the controls, the steering, the column stalks are very light and very easy to use, and the 6-speed gearbox, once warm, is particularly slick, and you can get into 5th gear probably from about 30 miles an hour, and once you've got some decent speed from maybe about 60 or so, you can get it into 6th gear, which has huge benefits in terms of fuel economy. Whilst the vehicle has reasonable ride quality on certain surfaces, it can be seen as being and felt as being a little bit jittery, and probably it's not the most comfortable, maybe as much as a Renault Clio or maybe some of the contemporary Fiestas in the class at the time. Driving experience, the car is safe, feels relatively secure and safe, but it's not offering the same level of driver enjoyment as something like a Fiesta, and this needs to be borne in mind if that's your priority. But in terms of day-to-day use, the steering is very light, the vehicle's easy to park, and in this specification with rear parking sensors, it's something that becomes even easier. So this particular vehicle has only had 2 owners. Its first owner for the first 3 years, covering just about 4,500 miles. and the remainder of the time and mileage has been covered by the second owner. During that time, the vehicle's benefited just from replacement of 2 tyres, more based on age than really wear, and just normal routine servicing throughout that period. No additional repairs have been logged, and the vehicle's proved to be utterly reliable. In terms of my driving impressions of the vehicle, it's safe, predictable, easy to drive, and also really easy to place on the road. It's not a difficult car to drive, and certainly if you are learning to drive, it's one car that you can consider for that very reason. It's not the most engaging vehicle in the segment. Probably at the time that would have fallen to the Fiesta. So I hope you liked my first video for lot 76 on the Toyota Yaris, and please like, subscribe and share for plenty more car related content to come.